gang, Steve Angeline here. I've got an interview today with a super agent out in Scottsdale, Arizona. I want to welcome to my interview here today, Larry Rubino out in Scottsdale. Larry, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Larry, I really appreciate you joining me. I know that you've had some success here and doing some mailing. I always like to get people coming on with me, telling me their success story. You're with, let me just make sure I've got some facts down here. You do it with your wife, Lois, correct?
Yes.
You've
yes.
been doing this now out in Scottsdale for about 9 years.
Yes.
And the name of your realtor is Deluxe Realty of Scottsdale. Is that correct? Do I have all those facts right?
Correct.
You got it. I appreciate it. So Larry, you and I met about a half a year ago, about 6 months.
Right.
Ago, you kind of liked what I was doing. You, to me, are the epitome of person who does the triple crown of FSBOs. You call them, you set up an appointment, or you go to an open house. You then put them on a mail, you email them, and you keep the whole cycle going with that. I know you've had a couple success stories, so let's just go over both of these. So correct me if I'm wrong here. You told me that you were mailing, somebody had a FSBO on the market for 1.2 million. Now I get it. Scottsdale is more expensive out there. You told me your average listing is about 600,000-700,000, but this FSBO was 1.2 million. You mailed him for a month and you got that listing after mailing him for a month. Is that correct?
Correct. He called me.
He called you. What were you mailing him, Larry?
I was mailing him just the postcards you had set up, Steve. We changed the format, to what we wanted. And then he called me up and he said, he said, listen, I don't like agents, but you know what? You struck me, you just kept mailing me stuff. And then he said, and then we met. And we turned out to be really good friends. I mean, he was, it's a funny story, Steve. He's also a barber. So my guy or my girl was on vacation, and I go over there one day for an open house. I said, listen, John, you think you could cut my hair? Yeah, come on.
So the postcard not only got you a listing, it got you a haircut.
For free. For free.
Exactly. So and then so you got the home sold for 1.2 million, and then the bonus on top of that, he's 80 some years old, right? 86 years old. He's going to downsize, and then he ended up buying in a retirement community with you as the agent for 350,000. So a month worth of mailing postcards got you over $1.5 million worth of listing, and I have to say, probably a pretty healthy commission check.
Yeah, three and three.
3 and 3. Wow, that's fantastic. And a haircut.
And yeah, don't forget the haircut.
Exactly. How many people go on an open house and they come back looking better coming back than they did when they went to the open house? So that's pretty good. And right now, and this is all within like 4 or 5 month time, you've got a current listing right now that you've been mailing somebody for quite some time. In the listings at 1.3 million. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
And what did you mail him? Same thing?
Same thing. Stephen called, and it was hard to visit him, but I just called, and my wife and I did go over there, and he liked what we said, and he said okay, and we sent him the listing thing. But as we were sending that, I still kept sending a postcard to him, believe it or not.
Right.
So now we're the best of friends, and we did have a contract for 1.7 that he just canceled because he said, Larry, I really want to buy a $2 million home.
Right.
Thank you.
Oh, so whoa, wait a minute. So this is on top of the listing. He's now going to buy under you.
Oh yeah.
And his budget is $2 million. $2
million.
So
and he I looked up the house, Steve. It is 3%. So 3% of 2 is a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly. So this guy, you've got his house listed for 1.3 in Scottsdale, and now his budget is to buy for $2 million. And again, all because you started out mailing him and getting it in the loop.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. You know, Larry, you, as I said before, you really have the triple crown down. Okay. I tell people, if you're just mailing, that's fine. If you're just calling, that's fine. If you're just emailing, that's fine. If you're just going on previews and open houses, that's fine. But the more that you package this together and you can go on that preview, either open house or by appointment, you then start emailing them and then you start mailing them. That's the triple crown. Your percentages start to increase that you'll get in the game. Well, you know, Larry, I commend you for coming on with me. There's a lot of folks out there that I talk to. They don't want to come on because they don't want to give away their secrets that you're doing. Larry, so if I had to ask you, what do you think the key is in the success story here? If you had to sum it up, what do you think the key was in your mailing to these folks?
I think it actually was you, Steve, because you gave us the way to mail. Okay, the sequence, you know, with the cards and the thank you and everything else. So it really started after I really took your course or your team or whatever you want to call it. That's when it started, because now it's just it's like rolling down a hill.
Right.
It's just multiplying and multiplying, you know. And I'm fortunate enough because I'm in a high-end area.
Right. Right.
You know, and it really started, I think, once I knew Mailbox Power, but I didn't concentrate on it until I got on with you, Steve. And then you gave us the templates and things like that, and my wife follows that and, you know, sends that out. But you have to be persistent, and you have to, you know, you can't just send out cards and go, well, nobody's doing anything. Well, you got to be proactive.
Right. Right. Yeah, you got to be consistent. You got to be proactive, because, hey, we just went over 2 real good successes, which then turned into buying. So
Right.
that multiplied. But right now, roughly about how many FSBOs have you mailed over the past, half a year? About just roughly how many do you think?
Probably 90.
Yeah, right.
Because Steve, I don't just send postcard. I have a number in my head.
Right.
I don't send postcards under 500,000.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Okay. So that's why the list is lower. I mean, if I went down to 3 or 4 or whatever, but you know, I'm doing the same work for 200 as I'm doing for 1 million.
Right.
You know, you're spending more money, of course, for advertising, but you're getting more money back.
Yes.
And it depends on your area.
Yeah. 100%. And that's why I wanted to kind of lead you down this path of how many, because we started out in the beginning and people are saying, whoa, he did 1 million, he did 350, that's 1.5, he did a 1.3 million, he's got 2 million, oh my God, that's 2.3, he added a 1.5, he's at, $3.5 to $4 million. But wait a minute, you've done about 90. Okay, so if you call it just 100 and you got these success stories out there, you're at that rate of what I tell people, and that's about the 3 to 4%, that you're going to get. But you do that, you call, you raise your bar, you go to the previews, you raise the bar, you email them, you're raising your percentage. And that's what I tell people that's really, really important. And Larry, I commend you and Lois. Better get Lois's name out there, Larry. Okay. Lois, if you're there in the background listening, we know that you're the power of this whole thing. So
He is.
Yeah.
He is. And the one thing, Steve, you did share with us was that leave behind.
Right.
That's gold.
Yeah.
That's really gold.
You got to have that plan that you're going to give them. That's the only way they're going to remember you. That's the key of mailing, is just to get them to remember you. Larry, I appreciate you taking the time, jumping on with me today. You're showing that, you can do things differently and be out there. You don't have to do things one way or the other. You're teaming that up out there. And thanks again for joining me. I hope you have a great holiday season here. and have a great, fantastic 2022. It sounds like with the help of Malin, you're going to be down that path. And thanks again for joining me.
Thank you, Steve.